Members, staff, and meeting participants, I call this November 4th, 2015 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting in order. Agenda item number 2. Please stand with me and we will ask Member Ken Bowen to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Agenda item number 3. Director Miller, would you please conduct the roll call, please?
Member Marsh.
Here.
Member Williams. Here. Member Vice Chair Palay Mohammed.
Here.
And Member Bolin.
Here.
And members of the commission, we did receive information that Member Hill, Member Nitsa Verdugo London, and Member Pertzborn were not going to be here tonight. But with the 4 of you here in attendance, we do have a quorum, and your attendance tonight is much appreciated. Thank you.
We have been given a copy of the meetings of October 9th, 2015 meeting for review and approval. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I so move.
Second.
Those in favor, motion please indicate.
Aye.
Motion passed. That brings us to agenda item number 5, old business. There will be none listed. We will move to the next agenda item. Agenda item number 6, new business. Read Cool PC 150904, CUP from the agenda. A conditional use permit request submitted by Stacy Humphreys on behalf of Jugs and Strokers for a motorcycle repair shop at 188 South Arizona Boulevard on parcel number 204-08-0720, located at the northwest corner of Arizona Boulevard and Roosevelt Avenue in Coolidge, Arizona.
Okay, members of the commission, as you indicated, this is a conditional use permit request submitted by Stacy Humphreys on behalf of Jugs and Strokers. It is, again, for a motorcycle repair shop. Staff received a request not long ago for actually a couple of activities that would be located in the former Movie Connections building there at 188 South Arizona Boulevard. One of the proposed uses was for tattoo artists, which is a principally permitted use in that building, in that commercial zoning district. The other use that was requested was for motorcycle repair. Any kind of automotive repair in that zoning district is not a use that's permitted by right, but it is a use that's conditionally permitted following a review by staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission. Stacy Humphreys submitted to you kind of an overview of what she intends to do, would like to do in this building. That is listed here in your staff report on the last page. The applicant, as I mentioned, would like to establish this business. We've evaluated the proposed use and have determined that the tattoo parlor is principally permitted. We've also reviewed the proposed use for motorcycle repair, and we feel that the site for the proposed use is adequate in size to accommodate the use, and all yards, spaces, parking, loading, and landscaping are adequate to properly relate the use with the land and uses in the vicinity. That's straight out of the code. There is no landscaping on this site. This site is concrete, basically the whole area. The building is an older building. It was built prior to the current zoning codes. The parking that's there is what's been there. They're basically using the site as is for this use. The proposed use really is no more intense than what the prior uses have been on this property, with the former Circle K convenience store and some of the other retail uses that have been on this property. The site for the proposed use relates to the streets which are adequate in width and pavement type to carry the quantity and kind of traffic generated by the proposed use. The proposed use will have no adverse impact on the abutting property, and the proposed use is in conformance with the general plan We are recommending that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve the conditional use permit for the motorcycle repair shop at 188 South Arizona Boulevard on parcel number 204-08-0720. We do have, as standard in our conditional use permit review, a resolution should the commission, upon the meeting tonight, decide that the conditional use should be permitted. You want to review it and approve it with the resolution that is before you. I have been in this building. This is a building that has actually disappointed me in the past. To see a vacant building on the boulevard, boarded up and not being used, is not the best image for Coolidge. We have a number of buildings in Coolidge that are like that. This applicant looked at several different options for buildings to conduct their business, and this business seems to be a very appropriate location for the type of activity that they propose to do. Since going into the building, they've done some major interior remodeling. When I say remodeling, the remodeling primarily consists of wall coverings and things that don't require permits. Our building inspector went in, talked to the applicant, and was reviewing some of the work they've done inside. Most of it is decorative in nature. Everything that's in there from an electrical standpoint was already intact. If you go in and look at the overhang outside, you'll see lots of can lights. All those cans were already in place. They just put bulbs in and polished up the cans and really cleaned this place up. If you've not been inside to look at it, I'm sure they'd be happy to show it to you, but I was there this evening looking at it again before the meeting, and very impressed by the quality of the decor. This will bring a very unique facility to this area that could be a real draw, I think, for the surrounding area. So we feel it's an appropriate location and a good business for the city of Coolidge. We'll employ local people here, as well as some from the outlying area. Stacy does have a background in motorcycle repair, has all the credentials, and is working at hiring people that have equal credentials, and she can talk more about that. I did receive a phone call earlier today from Sandra. You can state your name, but she wants to probably address the commission. She did express some concern about the motorcycle repair activity. Her primary concern, Sandra does live. Let me go back up here and get this on the screen. So Sandra does live in this address immediately behind the building that they are proposing to occupy. There's an alleyway here, and right across the alley is 540. This is where Sandra lives. Her biggest concern here is, I think she can bring it up, but basically in communicating with her tonight, her primary concern about the use was whether they would be starting up, revving up, and some of these motorcycles can be loud, especially some of the Harleys. And she was worried that maybe some of that noise would be detrimental or be a nuisance to the adjacent residential properties. I think Stacy, I brought that to her attention. She can address that. The adjacent resident can address this tonight, and we can have a discussion about it. But I think that there's a solution to that issue. Be happy to answer any questions that you have. Our recommendation is for approval of the conditional use permit resolution as written.
Oh, I have a list.
Go ahead. I think you're going to ask probably what I'll ask, so I'll just let you ask, and maybe you'll answer mine.
Don, how many questions do you have?
I got a couple, but
Okay, you go ahead.
okay, about this noise thing, I was wondering about that for quite a while. You guys gonna work on these motorcycles in the back or in the building itself, or what are you gonna do?
You want to come
Could
up
you
to
step
the?
up over here, please?
This meeting is being televised, so we do need to get it for the record.
And please speak into the microphone, too.
Yeah.
In the microphone at the podium.
Yeah, they want a recording of your voice.
No, you don't. All motorcycles, and it's a great concern. No motorcycles will be started in the back. There'll be no storage in the back of the building. Noise is a big issue. All motorcycles will not be started in that area until 9 a.m. in the morning, so you don't have to worry about any noise before that. There'll be no motorcycles worked on past 7 p.m., so no noise after that either. There'll be no revving of motorcycles. We'll start the bike. For example, if we need to do an oil change, that's the longest time you'll hear a motorcycle start in order for the temperature to get up to a certain degree for us to drain the oil out. And then from that point on, it'd be taken back into the shop, worked on. After that, it goes for a test drive. So there'll be no revving of engines because you actually ruin a motorcycle by doing that.
Stacy, can I ask you to bring the mic a little closer to you because it's not being recorded?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Thank you.
What are you gonna do with the front end? Are you gonna open up those windows so people can see in there, or?
Yes. Yeah, the front of the building right now does not have a door in order for the motorcycles to come in. So there is a company coming out just changing out the glass, which I spoke with Rick about. One, it wasn't tempered, so we need to have tempered glass, and the motorcycles will go in and out from the front of the building through that door.
So actually, there's nothing gonna be moved in and out the back of the building,
No,
is there?
nothing at all.
Okay.
Now, there'll be a table and chairs back there for associates to go out if they are smokers, so that will be out there.
That's about all I got, Ken.
My turn?
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
Stacy, on the back of the building where the medical supply place is, there are 2 storage buildings. Are those yours?
No,
That's
those
theirs.
belong to her.
Okay. There's a note here that you're going to have a storage structure encroaching on the 25-foot easement for ingress and egress along the northern property boundary of the property. I don't know where that would be.
I don't have any plans for any storage outside.
Item number F, page number, I don't know, 1 or 2. We're talking about a storage structure being encroaching into the 25-foot easement.
Page 2, yeah.
Page 2, item number what?
F.
F. Are you talking about of the resolution?
Yes, I guess I'm looking
Okay,
at the resolution.
not the staff report, the resolution.
Looking at the resolution.
You know, I believe what happened here, Tim, again, a cut and paste error from Tim. I believe that came from our last conditional use permit case. Remember when we had that oversized, that needs to come off.
Okay.
That is, there's no easement. That was from a cut and paste error from a prior staff report. We used this as a model resolution. He failed to take that condition off. The other ones are fine.
Mr. Miller, do you know if the owner of this property knows about the conditional use permit and is agreed to let that run with the property? Because let's say Stacy's business becomes extremely good and she has to rent a larger building in town and move to a larger facility. Does Miss Higginbotham know that property is now going to be zoned a certain way for certain things and it would have to come back to us again to be changed to something else?
Well, the answer to that question is it doesn't have to come back to be changed to something else. There are lots of uses that are allowed in this zoning district that are permitted by right.
Okay.
If this motorcycle repair garage were to go somewhere else, which I'm sure Stacy hopes doesn't happen, all of the uses that are allowed in that zoning district are still allowed.
Okay, so we're not limiting the use of the building in any way by putting this conditional use permit in effect for a motorcycle shop?
That's correct. All we're doing is enhancing the activities that are allowed on this property by putting this conditional use permit in effect.
Can a car automotive shop go in its place?
Probably not car, because we've stipulated motorcycle repair under this conditional use permit application. This facility would not be appropriate for an automotive repair garage.
I agree.
And so our stipulations are for motorcycle repair, which will be conducted entirely within the building. This building will not accommodate a garage like you're talking about.
All right.
So again, to reiterate, all this does is it enhances the property owner's ability to continue to market this to other motorcycle repair establishments if the relationship changes, which I don't think it will, but if it does, it hasn't diminished any uses that she's allowed to put on the property under the normal list of condition or the normal list of permitted uses. And it also allows for this to continue on the property into the future because it is recorded as a permitted use.
Is it okay for me to call you Stacy and not Miss Humphreys?
Yes, it is. And
I
may
apologize.
may I just say we're also in negotiations in purchasing the building from her.
Sure, that's better yet.
Okay.
Your hours of operation for your tattoo parlor will probably be different than your motorcycle shop, I would bet.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
The tattoo parlor is from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m.
okay. And that's 7 days a week?
Yes.
Okay. Can we add to this resolution that the motorcycle shop can only be operated on a certain amount of hours? Would that be justifiable for the noise situation that it's part of the resolution? I take her word for it, but this lady could be very successful and sell this business out to somebody for $2 million, and she's going to take that $2 million. Well, 3. No? Okay. At some figure she'll sell. Okay? I would like that stated that any motorcycle shop, doesn't matter who, has limited hours when they can operate. I like 9 to 7. I don't have a problem with. Does the neighbor have a problem with 9 to 7?
I think she needs to get up to the microphone.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But we
Sandy.
maybe want to ask.
Are we finished?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not.
I think what we should do is let you ask Stacy all the questions, then ask the
Okay.
neighbor. Stand
I'm
up.
sorry, Sandra. I'm sorry, Stacy. I don't mean to jump up and down.
Oh, that's fine.
You've pretty well covered the noise control issue from what Don asked. And you stated that all repairs will be done inside of the building?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know if all the neighbors have been notified within so many feet of the building that you're going to be operating the shop? Was that done?
Yes, it was. That's done as a condition. That staff does that. We notify all property owners within the required distance. That was done.
Many years ago, that structure had to have an engineering review done on it. The city of Coolidge required that to be done before the owner could do a change. Has that been done? Do you know?
I am unaware of that.
Okay. At one time, about 10 years ago, the owner of that building was not allowed to remodel it without a complete structural engineering plan done to be sure that the roof was solid and things like that. And I don't know where that stands or whether that still needs to be done or what the structural integrity of that building is. But she wasn't allowed to do the remodeling because of that. And that's what stopped her, because that plan was going to cost her $25,000.
Well, you're bringing information to me that's new. I am not aware of any structural assessment or requirement for that building. Everything that's been done in this building is not structural. It's all,
Right.
there's no structural things happening. So I suppose if they were taking out walls or replacing beams, perhaps, but you're bringing something to my attention tonight that I've not heard anything about, nor has my building department expressed any concern about what's going
It
on.
would have been
there.
prior to any of your staff, probably.
Okay. With a lack of that information, I can't address what you're bringing up tonight.
Right.
If I can add to that.
Sure, Stace.
My husband owns LPS Construction Company for retail in Gilbert and Mesa. So he did have his construction people come out to check for my safety and any building that I would go in to see if the roof was structurally sound, if all the beams were, and everything like that before we took occupancy.
Good.
And at that point, he would have any kind of paperwork for that.
Well, then somebody at least has seen it, so that's
Yes.
my question. Are you bringing the building up to current building codes for the city of Coolidge? Or do you know?
At this point, we haven't done anything other than them looking to see.
Are they required
The
to
ans-
bring it up to
No,
code?
the answer to that question is they're only going in and remodeling the
Yeah.
interior of the building with issues, with things that don't require building permits.
Okay. But are there
Carpeting,
any
I mean,
issues that could
floorings.
require upgrade to code, since that building was built in the 1960s, and no major remodeling has been done to that building since then that I'm aware of? I'm just wondering, is it up to current code, and is anyone checking to see if the building will meet current code for fire safety, electrical safety, plumbing? I noticed looking in the windows there is a number of outlets on the south wall. I don't know that they were there. They may have always been there. I didn't go in there very often.
Can I have,
If you step up the mic, sir.
please, I'm sorry.
He's probably more knowledgeable about
Yes.
this than either one of us.
If I may, sir, my name is James Smith. Stacy Humphrey's husband.
Okay.
I own LPS Contracting out of Mesa, Arizona. We do about $15 million a year. I build Walmarts, Safeways, Albertsons. Just did a small remodel in the Safeway here in Coolidge. My background is the largest project I ever built was $1.5 billion in New York. I was the assistant project manager on the renovation of Grand Central Station. I'm a certified building official, and I've served as a building official in the municipalities of Highlands, New Jersey, Keyport, New Jersey. I sat on the planning board in Highlands, New Jersey, and was the zoning officer in Highlands, New Jersey. I've testified as an expert construction witness over 600 times in the state of New Jersey and the state of New York. As Mr. Miller indicated, we looked at a number of projects here in the city of Coolidge. We've actually moved to the city of Coolidge, so we're residents. We know the distressed buildings that you have here in the city, and there are a number of them. Actually, I looked at the old Cohens in an attempt to buy Cohens for another business venture that I was looking into. Unfortunately, that building would have cost me millions of dollars to renovate and rehabilitate. And unfortunately, I wasn't willing to take that big of a risk in this city. I went into this building and did a structural review. With all due respect, Mr. Boland, you may not have all the information. The HVAC units are brand new in this building.
I saw that.
I didn't put those in. The electrical wiring is brand new in this building. I didn't put those in. The vent pipe, the drainage, at least to the point of connection outside of the building, are brand new. I didn't do that. That was all done. I would assume that with the oversight that we've had on this project, I've had 5 police officers in there. I've had Mr. Miller in there. I've had the building inspector in there. If there was anything untoward or done illegally or cut corners, I would have been, well, halved and quartered, I think. So there's been a lot of oversight. There's been a lot of people in this building, a lot of people like yourself who have been familiar with this building. What I did is I made sure that the building was safe. I hired, even though my own guys could have done it, I hired subcontractor, an electrical subcontractor, to come in, ohm out the system to make sure what was there was safe, to make sure that what was there was up to code. We did change out all the electrical outlet devices because the device itself was inferior to what we would use. It doesn't require a permit. We just took the wire out. Took the outlet out, put a new outlet in. We did screw off some of the structural members where it appears Hoffman put in new HVAC units. The code calls for screws being every 8 inches. They were 12, 13 inches, so my guys went in, re-screwed it. But like Mr. Miller said, what we did was put up 100-year-old barn wood on one wall. We put up tin roofing on the ceiling. We put scrim on the other side. So in my expert professional opinion, it is up to code. As far as grandfathering, there are some items you certainly don't grandfather. I didn't pull out an SES and put a new surface entrance in it. But from my professional opinion, it is up to code.
And it's been wired, whatever you've been doing is under commercial code. I'm sure
Absolutely, sir.
you know more about commercial code than I do, I'm sure. I have none of the experiences that you have. Absolutely. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Commission Member Bullen, just in members of the commission, you know, I appreciate his knowledge and expertise, but we have had Dennis Gillespie, our building inspector over there, who has a great deal of knowledge about electrical code. That's probably one of his strengths. And he assured us that everything that was going on there looked good, and that what they were doing primarily, again, was cosmetic as an interior decoration project primarily. And I would invite you to go look at it. You will be amazed at the transformation of that building from what it was to what it's.
What I can see, I've already been amazed. As I said when I started, or before this meeting started, I think it's looking really good inside. I just was looking through the windows.
Yep.
I just can't get my schedule the same as their schedule.
With regard to your question about hours, certainly that is a condition you can put into the conditional use permit resolution if you'd like to stipulate hours of operation. I think she has identified the hours that she would like to operate the motorcycle repair. With regard to the other use that's permitted, you don't deal with that. I mean, that is a permitted use by right. You really can't condition that. This is strictly motorcycle repair.
And I'm not interested in doing that.
Well,
I want to get little
one thing, Ken, on her executive summary that she has is she put from 9 to 6 p.m. in the executive summary, and then you stated 9 to 7.
They need an hour to close down, get the bikes lined up correctly, and clean the shop. So that operation will go on until 7, but the bikes will stop at 6.
So the noise
Correct.
will stop at 6.
Yes.
You see that on her executive summary under accessibility. It says 9 to 6 instead of 7.
Chairwoman, that's all the questions I have for now.
I have a couple. Yeah, I got a couple. It says that under your executive summary, there's more. It says free washing detail. Where will the washing be done at?
The washing is done on the left side of the building. If you're facing the building, it's concrete padded there, and where the drive-through window used to be, so it'll be done there. No bikes will leave dirty. They're just getting pressure washed off and detailed and cleaned before they give them back to a customer.
So the water's just in right there and it just flows into the street, or
Actually,
where does he have something?
there's a thingy there, right? What is it called? Drainage? There's a retention there. He looked at it. Yeah, there won't be any water going down the street to the
Okay.
neighbor's house. They don't have to worry about that.
Very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Will be used for, if your hours for the motorcycle shop are till 6, 7, putting them away, will it be used for anything else during off hours other than the tattoos?
No, it has a separate doorway that'll be locked and shut. There's no entrance through there unless you work there, so they won't be there.
So the tattoo is going to be separate from the bike area?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it's absolutely separate. It's blocked by their actual waiting room is separated. There's privacy doors. Employees only can enter through that side. Anyone who goes through the tattoo shop needs to use the restroom. They still don't need to even go through that side.
Very good. And I think one of the last ones I had is are you doing strictly custom repairs and work, or is there like insurance if somebody gets the shiny side down, so to speak? Are you doing insurance repairs? Are you doing that type of things?
At
or
this
is it
moment,
just,
we're not doing insurance repairs.
so it's more custom things. Somebody wants modifications or something breaks on somebody's bike, they take it to you. It's not,
Custom maintenance.
here's Allstate and fix my
Yeah,
bike.
no, we're not into that right now.
Okay. The other thing I had is the building just north of you. It was number 170 on the map. Is there anybody in that building, Rick, on 170?
Chinese restaurant?
Yes, that's a health maintenance supply
Yeah.
organization.
170 right there?
Oh, that's Patty's. She's the actual owner. She owns the building, the medical supply building.
Is that occupied?
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay. And obviously you spoke to them about what?
Same owner.
She's same owner.
It's the
She
same
leases-
Oh, same owner?
She's leasing
Yeah.
this space.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it.
Probably in favor of it.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I have, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. Good, thank you.
All very good questions.
Would anyone else from the public like to address the commission on the conditional use permit request? If you step up to the mic and state your name.
My name's Sandy Kirkendall, and I live at 540 West Roosevelt, which is just across the alley from the back side of their building. And I've been in the house for 12 years. I just dropped a bunch of money in repairing it, getting it perfect. And it's a quiet neighborhood. It's, you know, a lot of retired people there, and it's a very pleasant place to live. And I've ridden motorcycles. I love motorcycles, but they are loud. And I'm worried about the quality of my life being diminished by motorcycles starting up throughout the day. I just have a reasonable expectation of being able to sit in front of my TV and hear the sound, and inviting people over and barbecuing in my backyard and not having motorcycles going on and on and on and on. So, and then I worry about, I don't know if you guys are planning on, I know you're going to have an open house, and that day's going to be quite busy and loud. So I just don't want my quality of life to diminish because of this. And it kind of worries me being open that late for tattoos, because people who are coming in that late at night for tattoos, I don't know about that. My question is, am I going to have is anyone going to support me when it becomes intolerable, if it becomes intolerable? I don't want to have to sell my house. I want to live where I live.
Are there any hours, Sandra, that you would find acceptable for them to be running a motorcycle shop across the alley from your home?
Not really.
Okay, I mean, we, you know.
Fair, truthfully.
Yeah,
I know how loud they are. Mm-hmm. And just starting it up and letting it sit there and run, if I've got company, you know, it's not going to be pleasant. Or if I'm trying to rest, or if I need to go to bed early, I am not going to be able to do that.
With the structure, the way that it's set, and by them stating that it's all front door access towards the main boulevard, do you think, how's the sound now on Saturdays when we have the riders coming through? Is it disturbing?
No, that is not disturbing at all.
So the building
I
does
used to be
offer
in one
some
of those
buffer.
groups.
The building does offer some buffer.
No, not really. It just doesn't bother me because they come by
Zoom.
and they go. They're
Yeah.
gone. And Kirk's next door is, you know, their air wrenches and stuff. That's intermittent throughout the day. You know what it is. You know it's going to quit.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the noise. And it's acceptable. The decibel rate for a motorcycle, to me, is not acceptable. Even if they're inside the building or on the other side of the building, I'm going to hear every motorcycle that starts up and while it's running the whole time.
Any other questions?
Might just bring to your attention that if you look at the other uses that are permitted up and down the boulevard, and the permitted uses, you could have motorcycle sales in that building, where people actually selling motorcycles, and you could have motorcycles coming there all day long to buy parts, coming and going.
I know.
Permitted by right, which would be no more offensive in our mind in that commercial zoning district than you have someone working on a motorcycle inside. People drive their motorcycle there to get their motorcycle fixed. They're outside, as she indicated. She'd go outside in the front, start it, and then test drive it and bring it back. I can't see a whole lot of difference between that kind of activity and the nature of that activity and what they're proposing to do with a repair shop on the inside of the building.
I'm sorry, you just gave me a light bulb. Are you saying that if this young lady would like to run a retail establishment selling motorcycles, parts, everything but repairs,
That's permitted.
she is permitted and needs no special permit to do so?
That's correct. It's
Okay.
the repair
So
that,
this whole permit process that we're putting her through is based only on the fact that she is going to repair motorcycles.
that is correct, Member Bullen. And the reason behind this is because when we tend to see repair garages, and you've seen them, other bad examples in other communities, you generally have a lot of outdoor automotive parts. I mean, they tend to be more cars than motorcycles, but disabled, inoperable vehicles. We've got a few good examples of that on Arizona Boulevard today, where they have inoperable vehicles and broken down vehicles and machine parts and things like that, or engine parts. That is why we have a conditional use permit required for these types of facilities. But with her, and what she's proposing in her plan is to have everything indoors, nothing to the exterior. You're really not going to notice a whole lot of difference between what she's doing here in this business and what she could be doing without any conditional use permit by selling motorcycle accessories and motorcycle.
I can't picture any of her customer client owners allowing her to store their motorcycle outside. I'm sorry, but that would be a little bit, even in the fenced area in the back, I can't imagine that anybody would be happy if you did that. Okay, so I guess I'm getting a little more understanding here. Is so she could run her store, but it's the repair facility that is adding the
need for this meeting tonight.
this to come through.
Correct.
Okay.
I have nothing else.
Any other comments?
My question is, what can I do if it becomes unbearable to me as a resident?
All you can do is call the police and tell them, hey, these guys are not supposed to be doing this, and they're doing it.
Please call me. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have a relationship with you, and I promise you, I'm not there to aggravate or annoy any of the neighbors. My mother just purchased a house on Coolidge, so it's very important to me to have a great relationship with everybody in Coolidge, and I'm not set out for that. I just want you to know that, and I will prove that to you. I know that it's just my words right now, but I want you to understand that.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Sandy, what is being said though is, if she is making more noise than you care to have at noontime of any particular day, there's nothing in the world that can be done about that, truthfully. She's not breaking any rules, and calling her or the police or calling anybody, I don't believe they can enforce a noise ordinance during normal business hours. Am I correct, Mr. Miller?
Yeah, I'm, unless there's something that is absolutely so offensive to the whole area, I'm sure that, but then that's not going to happen in this case.
I don't perceive that happening either. I am trying to be
That's absolutely correct.
worst case scenario for Ms. Kirkendall here on exactly what she could or couldn't do. That was her question to the board.
And if you conditioned, for example, if you conditioned the hours of operation for the repair to 9 a.m. to 6 or 7 p.m., and she was repairing before that time or after that time, she would be in violation of the conditional use permit condition. And that would be a zoning violation, and we'd have to address that with the applicant in this case. But in that period of time, they would be permitted to do this type of business. And noise may happen. I mean, motorcycles will come and go from this facility.
And I understand that, and I can take that. It's just, am I going to be able to watch my TV? Am I going to be able to invite people over to barbecue in the backyard?
If I may, I think what happens with most motorcycle owners is they get a little overzealous with the revving. A business, you might get somebody in there that's a little overzealous, but I would hope and I would think that the owners would say, hey, you know what, we got neighbors, so kind of chill out about it. Let's get the bike fixed, and you can go do that somewhere else. That's part of the fun, is revving them up. That's why we get them. So I would think that the owners would be cognizant of their neighbors and hopefully would say, hey, that's all fine and dandy, but knock it off. I would hope.
Yes, sir,
To the
would you
mic,
step up
please.
to the mic?
Jim Smith. If I may, Harley Davidsons are air cooled. They're not going to sit here and idle. It's terrible for a bike. Number two, revving a bike, absolutely bad for the bike. The shop is being run by graduates of Motorcycle Mechanics Institute. Every mechanic there is a graduate of Harley Davidson University. Mr. Marsh, you're correct. It's the users that are zealous. It's not the motorcycle repair shop. Most of the time they're bringing the bikes for the motorcycle repair because they were overzealous. So I certainly hear your concern. I empathize with your concern, but I think you'll find that Kirk's next door, the tire and auto repair shop, is going to be louder. Your neighbor, one of those overzealous bikers, I see him all the time coming down the block. I think he'll be a very good customer, but I can't help you with your neighbor. But I can guarantee you that the professionals at the facility aren't going to be revving. They're not going to be idling. Quite honestly, that the front of the building is so big, you won't hear it. If you do, my wife is very, very good at donating the resources of my construction company. We can build a wall or something down the way.
Madam Chairman?
Thank you, sir. Ken, did you want to interject? Dr. Ken?
I guess at this point, if you're going to add stipulations to the conditional use permit resolution, we'd need to know what those are so we can add them for the record and make sure that those are changed and as you vote on this resolution.
I have one more question. Stacy, if I could. Is it your thought and intention at this point to run your motorcycle repair shop 7 days a week?
We'll close on Wednesday.
Closed on Wednesdays?
Yes.
Okay.
The reason being is most people work Monday through Friday.
Right.
And anytime your bike breaks down, you need it for work. And a lot of the individuals that live in this town that I've met already, that is their one and only way of transportation. And to get it fixed during a day where they have to take off is almost impossible for them. So Saturday and Sunday is very important to be open for them to have their vehicle for the following week.
Okay. I didn't know. I don't think about in those terms. All right, thank you. That was my question.
Thank you. Director Miller?
I don't have anything else to add. I think the discussion has been very good this evening. Hopefully we've made some, good clarifications on why the zoning, why the conditional use permit is necessary. Again, if you want to entertain adding some conditions, right now I'm striking this F off of this because that was an oversight from a prior case. So that comes off. But if you want to add any additional conditions, it would be under number 2, where you're adding special conditions if you'd like to. Right now I have none because she provided us with a program that she intends to use. But remember, Boland's correct. If someone else comes into this facility and wants to operate a repair garage all hours of the night, you could potentially restrict that if you want to put a restriction on the hours of operation.
I'd like to see a restriction on the hours of the operation from 9 to 6 for running of the motorcycles and 7 for the business.
So 9 to 6 for
Of the
repair.
motorcycle shop only. Motorcycle
Yes.
repair shop only.
Repair shop.
Because
yes.
she may want to sell parts. They may come in at 10 o'clock, and who
Yeah.
cares if she sells a part? They take it
So,
home.
so
home with
motorcycle
them.
repair limited from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Right.
Yes.
That would be the noise generating portion of her business, and that's really all we're concerned with is the generation of noise.
Right.
We want her to be successful and make a lot of money.
And that wouldn't stop you from, after 6, that your shop can clean up and do that because you're not repairing during that period of time.
Or till 10 o'clock at night if they want to. We don't
Right.
care. Yes, I agree with Marsh. Mr. Marsh. Member Marsh, whatever.
Whatever.
Okay, we can put that as condition A under item number 2, that motorcycle repair shall be limited to the hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Do we need to add a condition that all things be done inside of the building for future use, not to cause any limitations on this current person, but to limitate any other future motorcycle shop from doing outside repairs? And that does not include cleaning of motorcycles, that's repairs of motorcycles outside of the building structure?
I think that's appropriate. This conditional use permit is limited to motorcycle repair only within the structure, that there be no exterior repair.
Yeah.
Is that
And that it's for motorcycle repair only, so it kind of also, again, to your question earlier, could this be an automotive repair? We might stipulate that the conditional use permit is for motorcycle repair only and to be conducted within the structure.
Okay. I would like to see that. I think those two things running, since this thing runs with the property, once we do that, I'd like to make sure that we have that done for the next 100 years.
Okay?
Is there a motion to approve Cool PC 1504?
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Cool PZ 15-04 as written with the stipulations noted.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor indicate.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you and good luck to in your business, and hope you make a lot of money, and I hope things work out for you as far as the noise wise go.
Get you a paintball gun.
That brings us to item number 7 on this agenda, evening agenda, reports from the Growth Management Director.
You know, I'm gonna be attending a meeting in the morning early, the mayor's breakfast, and I put together a short little slide presentation for him. It just kind of talks about what's happening in Coolidge, and I thought I would just show you the slides tonight so you can kind of see what we've been working on and what's going on. It's a prelude of what he's going to show tomorrow.
Thank you, Sandra.
I'm not here to steal his thunder, but I'll just quickly go through this for the commission members. PowerPoint, we'll start here, slideshow. What's happening in Coolidge? Well, I think that this has been a tremendous addition, improvement to the old Marty skating rink, you know, with the demolition of the former very rundown little garage that was on the corner, and the conversion of the Marty skating rink into the new Napa store. Sorry. There we go. Thank you. Is it okay to stand here, like, so I can operate this? Okay. So back the first one was the Napa store. This is the McDonald's that's currently under renovation. You know, this is going up quite rapidly. It's amazing how they tore this building down and started putting it up so fast. I think it caused the other two projects to kick into gear a little faster, but it's amazing how quickly this building is coming together, and it's going to be McDonald's. It's almost twice the size of the prior McDonald's, with an outdoor seating area on the front of the building, on the north end of the building, with a large play space. Much larger McDonald's than what we had previously, with 2 drive-through lanes. The Pinal County Credit Union, all of these buildings in the same area, right there within a few feet of each other. This was the former Dimitri's and converted to the credit union. You can see some of the nice landscaping they're putting in, desert drought-tolerant landscaping. Stinger, Bridge and Iron, they continue to expand out on their property. We received word recently that they got a very large contract to build to do the bridge work for a very big project in California recently, and looks like they're going to be hiring some additional people at Stinger Bridge and Iron. You can see all the cranes across the street. The building in the background in the far left slide is a large building that will be, when it's finished, 200 feet by 500 feet. It's a crane bay where they'll be handling a lot of the materials for the bridge components. They also have the pre-stressed concrete girders that they have begun to manufacture and put in, makes them more competitive in this environment. This is the Cavett expansion over there off of Coolidge Avenue. They're putting a community room onto the side of the Cavett building. These are our new fuel tanks at the airport. We took the underground fuel tanks out that were there for over 30 years. And we have two 12,000 gallon tanks now, an upgrade from the 10,000 gallon tanks we had there before. Large reels, greater pumping capacity on the Jet A fuel, which is the tank on the right. With that pumping capacity, they can fuel some of the larger military aircraft now. The C-130s can come in there, and that can pump upwards of 250 gallons per minute into those aircraft, rather than the typical automotive gas pump that they had at the other pumps, which would take forever, and we would never get that kind of aircraft in, but now we can. We did this little sign recently, "Welcome to Coolidge Army Airfield, 1942 to 1945," at the entrance to the airport, using the gabion basket and well casing design that you've seen in other parts of the community. We are really promoting and continuing to support the airport fly-in pancake breakfast this Saturday, November 7th. 7:30 to 10:30. We have a tremendous number of people that come out here from all over the state in their planes. Those that would enjoy going out and supporting the fly-in. It's just a great event for the family. The plane on the right was here last year. Jack Links sponsored this Waco biplane. It's very unusual, probably not many of it like it in the world. You can see at the bottom of the plane, underneath the rotary engine, there's a jet engine. And so that is a jet-assisted Waco aircraft. It's really kind of not very normal to see that plane take off with a jet-powered engine. You recently, as a planning commission, reviewed and approved a conditional use permit for the Galloping Goose, the rodeo events, and they've been doing some rodeo activities. Had a few calls from people on this with a few concerns, but all in all, it seems like it's bringing in a lot of new business and revenue to the city. A lot of people coming and enjoying this activity. Seems like I see a lot more activity around town at our local businesses. You see a lot of horse trailers and other activity right now that you didn't see before. They are following all the conditional use permit requirements. We're kind of monitoring the dust to make sure that dust is kept to a minimum. Had a few people call, I think just objecting in general to the treatment of calves and things like that, in the pens. But they're only there for the day of the event, and then they're taken back to where they came from, the ranch where they came from. But it's a great activity. Here's the thing we talked about tonight. We want to highlight this tomorrow at the breakfast. You can see the work it's much further progressed even since this picture. They put the beautiful corrugated steel or metal underneath the overhang. Those beams go all the way through the building. Those are some massive beams. I was just actually in awe of the look of them. They look to be in very good condition. She mentioned tonight they'll be bringing in tempered glass, but they're putting a door in over in this area for the motorcycle repair side. The other side was where the tattoo artists are. It's a very nice looking reception area as you come into the facility. But the looks of this is just a remarkable change. Main Street Tavern. This is undergoing renovation. They're still going to be doing some exterior signage and some canopies. They've done a remarkable job on the inside of this building with new flooring and refurbished the old historic bar. And so this will be opening up soon. The Artisan Village is something that we're all just very happy about. The activities that have been going on at the Artisan Village are just continual. You can see one of our typical art meetings where all of the artisans come and we talk about the things that are happening at the village, including the items on the left-hand side, the Pinal Gem and Mineral Museum, the chamber offices, the visitor center. We're working on a coffee shop now. We have the Visual and Graphic Arts Studio that's open, teaching classes. Glass Guild, they had a lady come here that opened up her glass art program and just hosted, I think, 8 people from other parts of the country. So this is becoming a major economic development tool for the city. Lapidary arts, metal arts, fabric arts, literary arts, and Copper State Heritage Museum are all things that we're working on. This gentleman, Oscar Rodriguez, he is working on this project using volunteers, a lot of donated material and labor. This will be the Veterans Memorial on the campus of the Artisan Village. You can see it under construction now. They're building the wall, perimeter wall, and doing some work here to support and honor the veterans. Of course, the unfortunate destruction of the Cohen building, but it is, as was stated earlier by Mr. Humphreys, right? So is that right? Smith. Mr. Smith, this building was too far gone to really. I had a lot of people look at it. I hate to see a building torn down that has some historic character and meaning in the community, but this building was just too far gone to save. But we are working on plans to try to find a good reuse of that vacant lot. This building is the Circle K. It's going in on McCartney Road in Casa Grande. This is the prototype that they intend to build on the project site that the commission approved almost a year ago. I've talked to Circle K recently, and probably within the next 4 or 5 weeks I'll be submitting the building plans for this prototype. They'll have a little different design on their canopy that'll look a little nicer than the one you see in the picture, but the building itself will look very much like that. Speaking of gasoline, I was just kind of noticing the gas prices. Coolidge on the right and Casa Grande on the left. It seems a little bit out of whack, but we'd like to figure out what's in. Of course, all the community volunteerism, beautification that's going on, with our Gabion baskets, the Artisan Village, and we really like to see and continue to promote this. If you go out in front of the Galloping Goose, they're starting to do the same Gabion baskets. We bought the baskets and the well casing, and they're going to do a similar style on the vacant lot right there on the corner of Martin and Arizona Boulevard, like you have on the other side of the street. And so it'll be a nice little enhancement to that. They took the old ugly chain link fence down that had the razor wires and looked like temporary fencing. They took all that out and have cleaned that up. And that Gabion basket will go all the way down Martin Road eventually to kind of accent the rodeo facility there. We're working on this. We're trying to find a way to light the water tower. This is an icon for the city of Coolidge. I've been working with the Arizona Water Company, and we've got an electrical contractor, a lighting expert that's actually coming up with some ideas to try to light the tower using LED lighting, and maybe something that can be programmable from a remote location so we can change the color for the different holidays. But we're looking at this as a possibility with the Arizona Water Company. Future's looking bright for Coolidge. I think, if you go into these new businesses and some of these changes in the way things look, we're continuing to work with property owners and to go out there and try to have them step back from the front of their buildings and look at how they can improve either their business or their home. And all of this means a lot for the community. So that's just a preview of what's going on.
Nice. Any other questions? Okay, well, that's pretty much, we'll come to the end of our meeting. Agenda item number 9. As a reminder, our next meeting is scheduled for December the 9th, 2015. Do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's planning and zoning?
I'm sorry, have we skipped item 8, call of the public?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
call
I'm
the public.
sorry.
That's okay.
Agenda number 8, call to the public. Any other comments from the public?
No, just we're having an event on the 21st of this month, the grand opening, and I'd like to invite everybody there. All 50% of proceeds will be going to the camping house in town, which is very important.
What time is that?
It will be from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m.
No, 7. You gotta sweep the floor out.
That's funny.
Thank you. Now, Agenda item number 9. As a reminder, our next meeting is scheduled for December 9th, 2015. Do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.